What is up, YouTube? It's Rob coming at you with the Tuesday nightly watch list, giving you all the news you need to know, giving you the plays to make the money. And it's been an exciting week so far, and we got so much more, okay, for the rest of the week. So let's get into the watch list. So the market was up today. Continuing its record-breaking streak, okay? Now, the market was up today because of corporate earnings, right? We are in earnings season. So, right, as these companies release their earnings, which a lot of them have been great. All these companies are beating their earnings, right? Which are sending the stocks up, which are thus part of ETFs and the indexes. So when those individual stocks go up, it pushes the indexes up. And it's been a great earnings season so far. And everyone's killing their EPS guidance and revenue guidance to send the stocks up. Also, right, this week has been really bullish because we have the Fed rate cut coming in tomorrow, okay? Projections are for a 1/4 percentage point cut, right? That's what the market has priced in, and then you're going to get Jerome Powell speaking tomorrow at 2 p.m., okay? So stay tuned for that and listen to what he has to say. Any remarks about, the state of the economy and future rate cut guidance out of the Federal Reserve. And then at the same time, the China rhetoric has been coming out extremely positive, right? We're getting headlines every day, right, that are bullish, that are positive out of China, and it's been pushing the market up. The market's been, doing amazing, as I tell everyone, right? In quotations, AI bubble, nuclear bubble, quantum bubble. And then you did have that brief sell-off after Trump mentioned 100% 50 tariff on China. But, right, the market's been running up because there's been a lot of positive China rhetoric coming into the meeting that President Trump and President Xi of China will have this Thursday. So you have Fed rate cut Wednesday, Trump-China meeting Thursday, Apple earnings Thursday, more earnings. Crazy, exciting week, right? So much opportunity out there, so much volatility, big movements to make money, okay? And that is what is driving the market right now. But let's get into the individual names that move the market, pre-market and intraday. So first things first, Western Union, okay? Now, I've been looking at this stock recently because it's been really beat up. And today, right, we got a headline that came out and said they're going to build a stablecoin on the Solana blockchain with Anchorage, okay? So, all right, as we all know, Western Union is a payment company. So look at the ticker symbol, WU, off of this headline. And then also I do want to tie this in Sympathy Play Circle, right? CRCL. If you're not aware, they're tied into the crypto industry and stable coins. So take a look at them as well. But nonetheless, stablecoin industry can definitely cause some innovation or disruptions in the payment processors such as Western Union. Okay, next thing I have for you here, pre-market, right? CCJ, huge nuclear company, and around uranium, and they were up over 15% pre-market, okay, as Westinghouse is going to partner with the United States in an $80 billion push for nuclear reactors, right? We need alternate energy rather than electricity for artificial intelligence and just, energy consumption in the United States. So you've been seeing a big push out of the Trump administration on alternate energy, aka nuclear, okay? And a lot of plays happening. Most recently, CCJ up 15% pre-market. Also, Trump Media and Technology Group Corp, right, as we know it, ticker symbol DJT, announced that it will integrate prediction markets into its Truth Social platform, okay, with a partnership connection with Crypto.com. So 3 ticker symbols I have for you here, right? Crypto.com, look them up. You also have Truth Social and, right, DJT, Trump Media. Now, this is really, interesting news because we do know that the Trump administration and his family is pro-crypto, and they're going to integrate prediction markets into its Truth Social app, okay? So that is definitely, really big news that came out today. Also, PayPal is up over 16% pre-market. And let me guess why, guys. Why is PayPal up 16% pre-market? Oh, You probably guessed it right. AI, okay? PayPal surged over 16% after OpenAI announced a deal with them to become the first payments wallet in ChatGPT. So PayPal will be teaming up with OpenAI to integrate payments through ChatGPT. Now, I've been putting you guys on this. I'm telling you, I'm always the first to the news, and I've been telling you guys. And for those that watch the Watchlist already know this, but I was warning everyone. I said, watch for ChatGPT integrations. I mean, we already had big moves with Shopify, okay, and other partners that are integrating into ChatGPT. And I said, guys, look out for other names that can integrate into ChatGPT, and keep a watch out for this. This is going to cause a really big move. Well, here you go, right? PayPal was up over 16% pre-market, okay, and held up green today off of this news with OpenAI teaming up with them. Next thing I have for you, UPS. Now, this is a bittersweet moment, but they were up over 13% pre-market because they did have their earnings report, okay, and they did also announce they were going to cut 48,000 jobs. So this was a bittersweet moment for us because UPS was a long-term portfolio candidate that we were eyeing to add to our long-term portfolio because it paid a fat, juicy dividend of over 7%, okay? And like we saw, UPS, we use it, we know it, we think it's going to be here in 5 years. Great candidate at multi-year lows. And going to this earnings, right? I was going to add this to long-term portfolio if the earnings weren't good and the stock sold off, but exactly the opposite happened, and the stock went up over 13% pre-market, right? Because they cut jobs, which are going to cut expenses, increase earnings, while at the same time they killed it on their earnings. They beat guidance, EPS, and revenue. So we're taking that name off the long-term portfolio candidate list unless it decides to come back down. Next thing I have for you, Microsoft up over 4% because they did just come out and agree with new terms with OpenAI and ChatGPT worth a $135 billion stake. Now, Microsoft was one of the first movers to ChatGPT and OpenAI. They have a strategic partnership, and some of those amendments clauses were adjusted today on a new agreement. So Microsoft is still going to partner with OpenAI. So the stock's up over 4% on that news. And then, like I've been telling you guys, earnings season, right? SoFi, right, popular retail name, has had a huge run-up recently, right? But just today, pre-market, they are up 4% over their earnings because they had a revenue beat amid record member ads, okay? I personally switched over to SoFi this year and, right, had huge retail demand because, right, interest rates were, high, and people were looking for, ways to generate yield in their saving account. So people switched to SoFi because it's an online bank, so they have lower expenses, can pay higher interest rates, and you've been seeing that trend continue. I mean, the Fed is cutting interest rates like we're going to see tomorrow, and that has been a big fear for people. Well, if the Fed does cut interest rates and rates come back down, will that still incentivize people to use online banks? Well, to be determined, but SoFi stock is hitting all-time highs, and they just killed it on their earnings report. So that's what I have for you with SoFi. Next thing, Whirlpool, okay? Another name that we have for a long-term portfolio candidate. They reported earnings and the stock dropped, okay? It's been a volatile trading session because it was a mixed bag earnings, right? Investors are still digesting that report. So the stock was down pre-market, then it opened up at open, money flooded in. It's been going whipsawing around. So we're really going to need, for that news to settle out and see that price action. But Whirlpool, okay, this is another, name that we've been looking at to add, okay, to the long-term portfolio because everyone needs appliances, okay, for their house, apartments, whatever you want to call it, and it's going to be here in 5 to 10 years, okay? And it's trading at multi-year lows. That's part of our strategy, long-term portfolio. Get a long-term. Shout out the long-term portfolio. So with Whirlpool coming down on its earnings, right, recently, if the stock continues wants to come down, okay, that would be a name to add. Because like I've been telling everyone, right, everyone's focused on growth right now, okay? I mean, you get this crazy AI bubble and lots of movement with AI, and that's risk on. So what you're going to see is, a lot of people selling off value names, right? The so-called safe names that pay a dividend, right, to be more risk on. So the money rotates, right? When one thing sells, another thing gains. People are heavy in growth right now. So these value names are getting beaten up, and you're getting a lot of opportunity, right, to get value right now. So Whirlpool, keep it on your radar for a long-term portfolio candidate. Might just be the one we're looking at, okay? And I'm still looking at Chipotle right now if it comes down, and my eyes are really on to add Constellation Brands, more than likely for the next long-term portfolio add. But if no other opportunities present themselves, well, then that will be the one. So we're going to stay locked in, keep our eyes open for the long-term portfolio. But the next headline I have for you, right? Today was a huge NVIDIA conference, okay? I mean, there were so many headlines coming out, I couldn't keep up. They were releasing partnerships, news here and there. But, right, I do want to share with you one of some of the big movers, okay? First things first was Nokia, right? They surged over 25% intraday because they're going to they issued over 100 million shares, and that is because NVIDIA is buying them at $6. Those shares, and they're teaming up with NVIDIA because NVIDIA is taking a $1 billion equity stake. So NVIDIA and Nokia, right? Shares are surging based off of that investment. And then we also saw, right, with NVIDIA, they also, right, teamed up with Uber to partner on self-driving cars. Now, this was a circulated headline. We actually got this last week, so I got to you guys the news early, and right, Uber stock popped off today, going up higher based off this news, but it was just recirculated. That's what I'm telling you guys. I prefer the news. I hate saying it all the time, and always reminding people, but that's why we're here, man. We're here to make money in the market. We're here to get information quickly, trade it, make good long-term investments. And then what I wanted to share with you, one of our long-term portfolio holdings, right, Carnival Cruise Line, that's been getting knocked pretty hard today, down 5% after Royal Caribbean's announced their earnings report and, right, their guidance, right, their management's expectations of future, earnings and revenue, right. Well, the guidance was a miss, right, not as much as investors hoped for, so that sold off, and it's actually been causing, Carnival Cruise Line and Norwegian to get hit, right, little sympathy play action going on there. And right, other travel names have not been reported as strong, so names are getting hit. But all right, nothing to be afraid of, right? Still a long-term investment, and I'm just sharing that with you guys because, well, what does that do? That presents an opportunity, right? You're seeing sympathy names getting hit, okay, off of one name. Well, that presents an opportunity, right, to actually go along those sympathy names for a rebound, right? Because who's to say? Well, Carnival could kill it on their earnings, right? Just because Royal Caribbean didn't perform as well, it presents an opportunity, okay? So, guys, that is all of the news I have for you, all the information you need to be aware of, right? Anything new. But I did want to talk about some of our plays, we've been making, that we've been doing great. I mean, the last watch list, I informed you guys, we were looking at Fun, right? It was Six Flags, and we saw that Travis Kelce took a huge investment stake in the company, right? And I was like, this could really run here because there's buyout rumors attached to this as well. And, right, the stock was at around $24, and you could have actually got in at around $24, and now it's up to $26, $27. So got you guys early on that news, and that stock is trading at yearly lows, okay? So I wanted to update you guys on that position that we have, FUN, okay? Possible buyout rumor. So guys, that's everything I have for you for the Tuesday nightly watch list, right? Subscribe to the channel, okay? I appreciate all the support, and post in the comments, right, what you guys are looking at, any important news that you saw, move the market, things that you're looking at, any plays I want to hear, right? Long-term investment ideas, any option plays you guys are doing, let me know. Post it in the chat, right? We're a community. We're here to help one another. So, guys, take it easy. Stay safe. God bless all you. And peace.